So now we come to the sixth chapter, and we already expect that we will come back to the reader himself, and it became true. We come back to the reader himself, and he realizes that there is no continuation of the novel. And at this point, Kativani tells him that everything which was connected with Marana business is vanished now, and his typescripts, original text, Cimbrian, Polish, French, he vanished everything. Everything's vanished overnight. So we know that there is nothing left, and we will probably never know the continuation. And at this point, I was not disappointed because I already thought that the novel will end in the very interesting moment, and it will be the last part that we will actually observe about that novel.
Yes, and the reader continues his discovery of the continuation. He is introduced to Marana's letters. The letters are scattered over 5 continents. And the chronology is also uncertain. We see that Quiero Negro is the headings of the last letter, and this is a remote village in South America. And he has another letters which depict the achievements of the Marana, and his writing and how he was translating the novels that are unfinished to Sultana, because the Sultana was really interested in reading. She had a great desire to read, but there were no novels in her language. So these letters made our reader very curious about the continuation of the stories. His curiosity piqued, and letters drove him into the new story, and he was ready to leave immediately. He was going immediately across the ocean. He was going to explore the continent of Source Cross and find the latest hiding place of Marana. This person really interested him, so he wanted to ask Kavdagna if he can immediately let him read in a network of lines that enlace. So also he depicts his feelings that he can't wait to run to the cafe where he is going to meet with Ludmila and tell her the confusing results of this investigation. So his desires are easily going to be satisfied because we are now introduced to a new novel in a network of lines that enlance.
Yes, and right now just recalled the moment that even though chapter 6 was very long, we kind of could have observed the reader from outside, and when he was reading that letters from Marana, he actually pictured Ludmila in his mind.
Oh, yes. That also depicted about his feelings, yeah?
Right, yes. Okay, so in here, Ludmila is again someone unknown. We kind of don't see her, but she is there.
Yes.
Okay, and in a network of lines that enlace starts with a very interesting theme, and I think the main theme of this chapter is telephone and ringing. Personally, when I started reading this story, I felt that the main character maybe has a disorder because he's very too much focused on telephone ringing, and maybe she had some kind of a syndrome. It starts with the first sensation this book should convey is what I feel when I hear the telephone ring. I say should because I doubt that written words can give even a partial idea of it. So he is a professor at the university. He came from another city, and now he teaches. He lives alone, and we don't notice other people in the beginning. We're concentrated on the character himself and on the telephone ringing and how he listens to it. So every morning he starts with jogging because it was recommended by his doctors because he was once overweight, and maybe it's connected to the syndrome. So he starts jogging. he goes outside, brushes, like breathe in the air, and I felt that he really wanted this space. He wanted to feel that he is free, and he starts running, and like everything that a typical runner can feel, we can feel from his perspective, because he starts running, he feels free, and he doesn't even stop. He climbs to the mountain, he crosses other buildings, and these houses are very similar to each other. He doesn't pay attention to them because for him all the houses are the same. He just runs through them, he doesn't stop, and then he stops and do some exercises and stands up and goes on. So I really liked this story. I think this story is the most interesting so far because throughout of it everything was in movement. We never kind of didn't stop, right?
Yes, that was engaging from the first page. That
Yeah.
was, like, so detailed and so engaging. Yeah.
Yes, and even though he says, I run without moving away, I hover without shortening my stride. So he doesn't stop. Interesting.
Yes, and one noticeable point was that he was always feeling that telephone ring is pursuing him whenever he was going to jog, and especially the one place is the house that had always this telephone ring, and he had thoughts like, why nobody is taking the ring, and why if nobody is taking the ring they're stubbornly continuing to call. So he circled the house 3 times one day, and he would like to take that telephone call, but he had a thought like, I would have looked like a thief if I came to somebody's home and take the ring. And then he decided to walk away, and he ran to the place where no more houses were, and stopped and decided to have a little rest. But when he was in his way back to home, the telephone started ringing again in that home, which was impossible. So he decided that he should come, and he went around the house and around to the window. And when he take the phone, he said, "Here's no one there," but he was interrupted, and somebody's voice said, "Now you listen to me. Marjorie is here. She will get waking up in a little while, but she is tired up and can't get away. Write down this address, Hills Drive, and come here." They were going to fire the house, and they hung up the call. So our narrator was confused. He didn't know what to do. He had a wish to call the police, but he was again confused how to explain the situation. Like, I took a phone call from somebody's home, and I don't know any Marjorie. What should I do? And then he again started running. He circled the house once more and decided that and then he remembered that he knows only one Marjorie, but it couldn't be she, because he knows her from the university. The truth is that Marjorie was appealing to him a lot, and he, at the first days of his work, he started to. He invited her to his house, and they were just reading and talking. But I guess everybody misunderstood his intentions, because girls in the university were smirking and had ironic smile on him. So yes, he was thinking about could it be that Marjorie or not, but mostly he was considering that this is not that Marjorie. But he had thought like unless it is the same Marjorie, unless the telephone call was aimed personally at me. Also, when he was joking, I had the feeling like he has hallucinations, like or too many thoughts like about this call. But he again says that somebody could be looking on him with telescope, following every his step, knowing that he is jogging every morning, that he could walk across this house every day. So when he realized that, he decided to go to campus and run to the across campus and asked one student, where is Marjorie? Who answered him, Marjorie. She hasn't shown up for 2 days. Why? And then he runs to the Hills Drive very fastly, finds this house, 115, and enters the room. And Marjorie is sat on the sofa, and when he realizes her, she vomits and says, "You are a bastard." That was how to say, that was confusing and really interesting story, shocking, and giving a lot of thoughts like why was it happening and how he is connected to Marjorie and why she was catched. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, and also, going back to the previous chapter when the author told us that I make up all these stories at the same time because these stories happening in the lives of different people, and maybe when they were killing Jojo, here he was like maybe trying to save the Marjorie. It's very interesting. I like the story.
Yeah, you're right. I feel satisfied with this story, actually. This is the first novel that was pleasant to read, and the ending was not too many questions didn't appear. I had a space to think and continue it by my way.
And do you remember before that we read about a doctor, not a doctor, but he was a patient and he was sick because of something, and yes, and he was sick, and here another character is also sick. Yeah, it's interesting, like different parallels, right?
Yes.
Like in every story we see a girl and we see someone sick.
Right.
Before that it was criminals. Here he is a
one after one. Yes, one criminal, one sick, one criminal, one sick.
Yes, very interesting. Maybe now we can kind of can make a pattern and trace of author's thoughts.
You're right. I assume that could be that makes sense.
Yeah, I also think so. Okay. See you.